All right, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about Terence Crawford responding to Errol Spence Jr.'s eye injury, basically saying that everything happens for a reason. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about the ups and downs in life according to Terence Crawford, and he responded in a very professional manner to Errol Spence Jr.'s eye injury. Before we get into the video though, please make sure, if you're not already subscribed, to subscribe to the channel. Also, like the video, share the video. It really does go a long way towards growing the channel, and it would be greatly appreciated. So as you know, Errol Spence Jr. has had a damage to his eye, tore his retina, and the Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence Jr. fight has been canceled. And honestly, in some people's mind, it could put a damper or put a question mark on the rest of Errol Spence Jr.'s career, because Errol Spence Jr. now has been in major injuries, 2 times. The first time being with the car accident that, where he was driving late at night and his car flipped over umpteen million times. He has a bunch of bruises on his body, black eyes, swollen eyes, his teeth break out, right? Has to get implants, all of that stuff, right? And then he goes through all of that, comes back and fights Danny Garcia, and now in preparation for the next fight, Manny Pacquiao, it's discovered that he has a torn retina. Not sure where exactly where and when he tore the retina, but the retina was torn, and now the fight was canceled. And so it just puts you in mind, is like, why in the world would this happen? And Terence Crawford comes really with like the philosophic answer, and he's like, look, whenever things happen in this world, I just take them for what they are. I'm paraphrasing what he said. But and he's like, hey, basically everything happens for a reason. And I think Terence Crawford is not, first of all, I think I respect that response to it. He probably could have just, give, hey man, get stronger, champ, something like that. But, he didn't do that. But he did deliver a message that I think is important, and it is something that, definitely is important for Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford would know, because Terence Crawford has also, during his career, been in, some circumstances where, it looked like, it was really rough situations. The first situation is that where, he was out in Nebraska, and they were at somebody's house gambling. I think that the rumor is that he was playing craps, and as he and his friends got up to leave, they go to the car, and I guess there was some type of argument there, and somebody takes a gun and shoots through the back window and grazes the window, shoots at, I'm not sure if they were shooting at Terence Crawford or just shooting at the car generally. The bullet grazes off the back of the head of Terence Crawford, and he lives, right? And that is one of those situations where you could be like, man, why, where he barely escapes from something, and there must be a reason why that happened, right? And he goes on to becoming a world champion. He also had another circumstance that could have held up his career, and this one was more of his own choosing, right? Where he decides that he has, a car for his cousin is in a car shop, and they didn't do the upgrades or something in a timely fashion, but the guy wouldn't give him his car back, so him and his friends go in there and just decide to take the car off the lift and ride out with the car. So that's just another example of something happening to Terence Crawford during his career, where you got to figure like, okay, man, why are these things? And then he winds up going to court and getting off the court. So he had 2 narrow escapes. And, so it's just like, why are these things happening to you? It happens for a reason. So, but what are the reasons? The reasons in the case of Errol Spence Jr. is like, obviously something where he responded to it and that was for him to stay out of, he basically went and started living in a really reclusive setting and wasn't going out partying at night with Yellow. I think the dude's name is Yellow Beezy, and the rap stars and things that he was hanging out with, out at night, driving a Ferrari at a nightclub, drinking outside, doing all those things that, a young millionaire would want to do. And so he reformed his life, and now, boom, he's still got another obstacle. So, the interesting thing is that both these guys have both had challenges in their life. Errol Spence, Terence Crawford's and Errol Spence Jr.'s were both of their making. So, when you say that, it's all for, everything happens for a reason, it's kind of like, well, is it the reason? What's the reason that it happened? The reason a lot of times is your own individual, irresponsibility is the reason that certain things happen. Like, you can take that saying, and I've always thought that was interesting about that saying, because it's like everything happens for a reason, and a lot of people immediately say, okay, well, that means that, there's this grander plan that God has, or whatever higher power you has for you, right? And you're looking at it and like, okay, well, this happened so that these other things could happen as well. Right? But there's the other way to look at it, which is everything happens for a reason. And the reason is that you cause these things to happen. So hopefully both these things, that thing with Errol Spence Jr. works itself out, and we can actually get to a fight between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. So hopefully that's where I'm hoping these things happen. I'm hoping that it happened so that Errol Spence Jr. can get, instead of fighting for 2 belts, he fights for 3 belts with after Manny Pacquiao and Ugas have unified that belt, the belts within the WBA, and now Errol Spence Jr. will have, after he comes back from this retina tear, he can fight the winner of Manny Pacquiao versus Ugas, and then after that turn around and fight Terence Crawford for undisputed. That's the reason, though, that I hope that particular thing happened. But, like I said, when you say things happen for a reason, you can take that 2 ways. You can take it, did it happen? Was I the cause for it happening, and the actual reason that it happened being your bad decisions? And at the same time, it be something that works for the greater good, that is supposed to kind of work itself out in the universe. It's just real interesting to hear Terence Crawford get philosophical on situations like this, when really the best mode for him would have been, hey, champ, get well soon. But that's not necessarily how Terence Crawford rolls. He probably still has a little bit of FU that he feels towards Errol Spence, and it came out in this response. So anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.